Lucio Fulci's Zombie series, across alternate timelines. In some worlds, the dead rise to feed. In others, they rise to remember. Across echo timelines, the zombie films we thought we knew were only fragments, reflections in broken glass. From memory plague outbreaks in subway tunnels, to reverse time clocks counting back the hours of decay, to whispered names echoing through radio static. This is the zombie sequence, as it should have been, across worlds that never forgot. These are the death dreams of the forgotten. Alternate timeline variant A, Zombie, L'isola dei Morti. Origin timeline, Mnemo-Rift Strand, 1979. Runtime, 112 minutes. Format, shot in 35mm. Remastered in Echo Timeline 4K for special anniversary release. Structure, 3-act epic with ritualistic pacing, rooted in West African and Caribbean death lore. Major differences: extended sequences on Matul Island, ritualistic scenes showing zombie creation linked to ancient spirit magic, additional dialogue between Dr. Menard and his wife, showing more human conflict before the undead breach. Different soundtrack cues, including one haunting choral piece called The Drowned Sun. Ending includes a montage of global radio broadcasts hinting at a worldwide spread. Feels broader, more mythic. A kind of Lovecraftian epic hidden inside a grindhouse film. Extended prologue features a witch doctor-like figure on the docks in Matul, carving sigils into fish bones. He warns a sailor, "They do not rise because of sickness. They rise because we are forgotten." Expanded NYC sequences. The first 2 zombies. The arrival. This part opens not on the boat drifting toward the harbor, but on the day it docked, 2 days earlier than in our cut. 2 sick men, later revealed to be partially decomposed, slipped through customs during a storm lockdown. The outbreak. One enters a subway car, the other collapses in a hospital ER. There are no major attacks at first. Instead, people just start becoming confused, disoriented, hearing whispers. The subway sequence is surreal. Lights flicker with rhythmic pulses. Riders go silent. The infected man begins sobbing, whispering the names of people he doesn't know. The infected man sobbing and whispering unknown names is pivotal. He's not speaking gibberish. He's channeling the dead. Conceptual shift. The NYC zombies aren't just flesh-hungry, they're memory-contagious. People around them begin to experience ancestral memories and dream flashes of Matul Island before they're even bitten. It's not a virus, one CDC doctor says. It's a rupture in the mnemonic field. Eventually, the government quarantines Lower Manhattan. But by then, it's too late. Dream sequences. Anne Bowles, Tisa Farrow, suffers death dreams, linking her to her father's descent into madness. These dreams include lapis philosophorum symbols, ancient funeral rites, and glimpses of earlier undead resurrections. Deeper lore. A hidden temple beneath the church ruins contains pre-Columbian carvings, showing the undead cycle happening every 500 years. Zombies are not just the dead. They are echoes of those erased by empire. The memory loop ending. Anne's dance. After the zombie siege, Anne is infected but not yet turned. She enters a trance and remembers the island's last living day. The final shot is a memory loop, showing her dancing with the villagers at sunset, as the dead slowly rise in the background. This scene visually reverses time during Anne's infection trance. She sees herself before the outbreak, dancing with villagers. Final frame zooms slowly into her eyes as the music swells, then freeze frames with a whisper. This isn't the end. It's the next remembering. After cutting to black, a montage of global radio broadcasts hinting at a worldwide spread. Score. Fabio Frizzi's music is even darker, with new tracks using reversed vocals and thunder drum loops sourced from actual Haitian ritual recordings. Drowned Sun track, L'isola dei Morti. The haunting choral piece is tied to sunken church bells beneath Matul Island. Survivors hear the bells ring underwater in their dreams. Legend says, when the drowned sun sings, the forgotten will rise. How Zombi, L'isola dei Morti got its funding. Key timeline divergence. In that world, Dawn of the Dead, 1978, was marketed not just as a cult horror hit, but as a high-concept, social apocalypse art film in Italy and France. Critics compared it to La Jetée and Salo. The attention caused the Italian Ministry of Culture to co-fund genre subversions for a 1979 to 1983 project cycle. Lucio Fulci to gain support from Rai's Experimental Arts Division. Fabio Frizzi to partner with avant-garde composers for a grant-backed horror suite. Because of this, Zombi was treated not as an exploitation flick, but as a metaphysical horror opera, a meditation on death, memory, and colonial guilt. Alternate timeline variant B, Zombie 1979, the second fall cut. Origin timeline, Zombie Delta 67. Mostly the same as the zombie cut from our timeline, but with expanded sequences. This alternate timeline reel included restored and experimental sequences that were either never filmed here or never survived the editing process in our timeline. This cut was known internally as the Versione della Seconda Caduta, version of the second fall. Expanded scenes. Scene 1. Harbor Patrol Boat Autopsy Room, early scene. Slightly extended dialogue between the investigators. One man whispers, "It's not rot. It's something else. Like they weren't dead, right?" There's an extra shot of the covered body twitching ever so slightly, more subtle than in theatrical. Scene 2. First zombie encounter, mangrove scene. The two zombies rising from the swamp is slightly extended. Additional 5 to 6 seconds where one zombie hesitates, turning its head slowly like it's listening. A strange wooden charm is briefly visible on one of their wrists, likely a cut tie to the Matul ritual threads. Scene 3. Shuttered building mid-film brief Manhattan daylight scene, before returning to the island segment. A cutaway showing a family boarding up windows while listening to a radio. The broadcast briefly mentions rumors of mass disappearances in Harlem and Queens. The mother looks outside and sees no one on the street, just one man standing strangely still. That same man later appears as a zombie in the final building scene. This whole mid-film scene leaves a lingering tone that the fall of New York had already begun long before we see the bridge. Expanded ending sequence. The building pursuit. After the Brooklyn Bridge sequence plays, the film does not cut to black or credits. Instead, the scene hard cuts to Interior, Manhattan high-rise, news office. A small group of survivors, 2 men, 1 woman, 1 injured teen, are barricaded inside. The sound is muffled, almost dreamlike. Broken radio static flickers between shots. Zombies are already in the building, moving slowly but methodically. They don't break doors. They wait for them to open. Some are seen silently watching through glass, their faces eerily still. One man, a radio DJ, tries to broadcast a message. He says, "If anyone hears this, do not trust the bridge. They're already here." Suddenly, a panel collapses. Zombies begin spilling in from a stairwell and elevator. Panic ensues. The woman tries to pull the teen through a narrow service tunnel. One man shoots himself before being bitten. The camera lingers on the DJ's dead face, eyes open, still broadcasting silence. Final shot. A hallway door slowly creaks open. We see the Brooklyn skyline again, but this time from inside the building, as the zombies advance toward the camera. Smash cut to black. Fulci's name appears in silence. Then, a final distorted reprise of the film's theme plays. Intensifies the slow dread and urban claustrophobia of the ending. Alternate timeline zombie sequels we never got. Alternate timeline sequel. A. Zombie, Inferno Lento, Slow Hell, 1982. Origin timeline, censored Rome timeline. Considered the most surreal zombie film Fulci ever made, but it never existed here. Plot: a coastal town begins to sink after a shipwreck delivers a clock that counts backward. Each hour reversed brings the dead back in reverse stages of decomposition. Zombies literally speak, not groans, but full monologues from their death moments. Some reenact their last 5 minutes of life on loop. A nun buries herself alive to stop her future resurrection. She buries herself alive before her undeath hour strikes. Her final prayer is reversed in audio. Known among fans as the Countdown Lament. One child zombie gives a chilling performance that ends in him comforting his own grieving parents. He delivers a line that became a meme in its timeline. "I died listening. Are you still screaming?" This film was banned for 40 years in its timeline as a video nasty. It's now revered as a religious trauma opera. Alternate timeline sequel B. Zombie, Silent Spring, 1987. Origin, timeline, Atlantean oil spill branch. A corporate vessel sinks off Brazil carrying ancient burial clay. Instead of zombies, flowers bloom from corpses. Pollen carries undead neurotoxins. Environmental horror masterpiece. Alternate timeline sequel C. Zombie broadcast delay, 1991. Origin, timeline, ghost signal frequency divergence. Set entirely in a radio station during a zombie outbreak. Only heard through call-in survivor stories. You never see the undead, only hear the screams, static, confessions. Known as the zombie film with no zombies. These films existed in alternate timelines, and echoes always return. If these alternate cuts stirred something in you, like, subscribe. Leave your own fragment in the comments below. Until next time, remember, it's not a virus. It's a rupture in the mnemonic field, and the dead are still listening.